Hypixel has countless game modes, but only the best, most fun game modes and those with the most progression claim the highest player counts. But looking on the other side, there are game modes that barely even have any players. Why have they died? Why have they fallen off? Today we will take a look at Hypixel's forgotten game modes. This is part 2 of the series, so if you want part 3, please like and subscribe. The first game mode I want to talk about isn't really a complete forgotten game mode, but it has basically lost all of the players it once had. The game mode I'm talking about is Skywars Insane, or more precise, Skywars Insane Doubles. But why is especially Skywars Insane mode so dead? Here's an opinion of someone who plays normal on why they don't play Insane.
I think the reason why I don't play Insane is because I just feel like when people get mid and when people get stacked, I don't feel like I can do anything. When somebody gets like a stack of pearls, like half a stack of golden apples, they had like fire aspect, like prot 4. I just don't feel like there's anything I can do.
So you think like normal is more popular because you basically can kill like other players faster?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons.
I'm also gonna add that in the Insane mode there's way more cheaters, and in general the games just take way longer than normal on average. So if Hypixel wants to fix this issue of Insane mode being basically dead, they would need to update Skywars again. The last time they've done that was like 3 decades ago. They just basically need to bring out another good update and then the game mode will be revived. It's not that difficult. The next game mode I want to talk about is Quakecraft. While being one of Hypixel's oldest game modes and also one of Hypixel's probably most fun game modes, it has a pretty unstable player base. While this game mode is pretty ping reliant, you need a pretty decently low ping to be able to play it well. There's also a huge problem that every game you will play will have a person with the best railgun, and beginners just basically have no chance in that game mode. Quakecraft isn't one of the most important game modes anymore. Hypixel kind of revived it with the tourney they made, but the tourney was pretty ass as people could literally just use ESP or other cheats to gain an advantage over other players, and that is my next reason why the game mode pretty much died, because people can literally just use cheats without being ever flagged or banned and just use them infinitely and gain an advantage over other players. Hypixel can't really do anything about that, but otherwise Hypixel could probably update the game mode. The last update they made on that game mode was in 2017 and that was 7 years ago, so update that game already. The next game mode I want to talk about was requested in last video, and it is Cops vs Crims. And that game mode is pretty much completely dead, apart from the main game mode Defusal. Team Deathmatch, Gun Game and Challenge mode, all three do not get a single player that plays that game mode. CVC though is a pretty stable game mode with a pretty stable community, but all of the other games just don't queue. But Defusal is pretty active still and has quite a lot of players and also attracts a lot of new players. It's also a pretty fun game mode where you can get pretty good pretty quickly. You just need to learn how everything works, and that is pretty difficult. It's one of the game modes that has made me rage so much over the last bingos and everything, but I think personally, if I play it normally, it's pretty fun. So if you want to play a different game mode that's not like PvP, go try that out. It's pretty easy, pretty nice, pretty fun. So yeah, Challenge mode, Gun Game and Team Deathmatch just don't queue. I couldn't even get any footage of that. But it's the same flaw as with Quakecraft. You could also just use ESP or cheats to gain an advantage over other players, while Hypixel is not able to do anything about it. With the game mode getting a pretty fair share of the quests of the bingos and also a tournament that wasn't that long ago, it got pretty well revived and is at a steady 30 players at all times. What Hypixel could do to attract the game mode to even more players is bring an update with new maps, for example, or even new weapons to make the game spice up a bit, or change some minor stuff. So like add different pathways on maps or something like that, or even try to somehow revive the other game modes. Otherwise, I think CVC is in a pretty steady position right now, as nobody really cares about the other game modes. If you want to play CVC, just play Defusal, because the other game modes do not queue at all, they're pretty dead. So yeah, with that being said, CVC is a pretty nice, overall, pretty active game mode still. The last game mode I want to talk about is the walls. And I don't mean mega walls, I mean the walls in the classic games lobby. It's basically a game mode that is just like mega walls, but it doesn't take as long, and you can already see the reason why it's completely dead. It has no players at all. It's because the majority of the player base just wants to play the normal regular mega walls in the mega walls lobby. It's the same problem like mini walls, where walls is just not in the mega walls lobby for some reason, even though it's a walls game mode. And yeah, basically what you need to do is you spawn on your plot with other random players. So you spawn there, and then you need to mine out stuff and make yourself some stuff, and then be the last one remaining after the walls fall. And that's basically how mega walls works, just with a larger team. I see the problem here again. It's just that the walls is not in the mega walls lobby. Like, it would get so many more players if it was in there, but it's sadly not. Also, I think that walls is a pretty repetitive game mode where you don't have to do that much. The big difference between mega walls and the walls in the classic games lobby is basically that you don't need to kill any wither. It's basically just deathmatch after the walls drop, and I could see it being repetitive if you play it a lot. And that basically means that you have like 10 minutes of preparation just for the game to end after like 2 minutes. I don't even know what Hypixel could potentially do to fix the game mode or the players of that game mode. It also, just like all other game modes on this list, was pretty much revived when the bingos came out, and then it used to queue, but when there's nothing to play the game mode for, there's just no players at all. Hypixel doesn't really need to bring out an update. The kits are pretty nice. There's like pretty nice perks and stuff that you get upon spawning. The maps are pretty good, and it's just an overall pretty decent game mode that just gets no recognition because it's in the wrong lobby. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me in the comments if you want a part 3 of this series, Hypixel's Most Forgotten Game Mode, and I hope we will see each other soon. Thanks for watching.